Welcome back and thanks for staying with us this morning on the show. Well, my guest is a very interesting one, a very unusual one. He will be helping me to look at opportunities and various other things in the food industry. Please help me welcome my guest, Mr. Chinonso
Thank you very much, ma.
Samuel.
Yes, ma. Thank
Good
you very
morning
much,
and
ma.
welcome to the show.
Good morning, ma. Thank you very much
You're
for inviting me.
young, you're male, and you are a chef. That's very interesting. It's an interesting mix there.
Yes.
Talk to me. In an industry where women are dominating, what inspired you to take up entrepreneurship in the food industry?
Um, I think my passion for the food industry actually started from when I was a very young person, and I would say my mom played a key role into that. So she would, most times my mom would organize some sort of competition between I and my siblings. Would have to make food to please her. She would have to supervise us when we are cooking. And growing up after secondary school, I noticed I had to just do something, and that was the only thing I could actually do at the moment because I had some sort of experience with my mom because my mom ran a kitchen as well.
Okay.
So from when I was growing
Commercially.
up, yes. So I had to just push for it, and the moment I pushed for it, I didn't really have a plan for it. I just wanted to work in a restaurant and have something to do for myself. But then I understood that there was a need for me to be precise, and with that, there was now the drive to go further because there's this thing about me. I don't like to be a mediocre in whatever I'm doing.
Okay.
So that drive to get better and better kept pushing me forward and forward and forward and got me here right here where I am today.
Interesting. You've been a chef for about 5 years now. I
Yes,
think that's long enough to sustain and say that you're here to stay.
yes,
So
yes.
talk to us about some of the challenges you faced in the beginning and how you overcame them.
Well, some of the challenges I faced was trying to blend with the system because I was not born there. I was not. I did it from a standpoint of family when I was with my mom. I didn't really see it as a big deal. But when I got into the industry outside my mom's kitchen, I understood that there's a lot of responsibility on me, and there's a need for me to be serious. There's a need for me to be precise. There's a need for me to be up when it comes to the knowledge about knowledge about the industry. So I had to read up. I had to make researches. I had to work out because
You need the
it's
stamina.
yes because there's a lot of stamina like required, and there's this stress that comes from being a chef. Most chefs burn out at work, and when I started, it was a huge stress for me. It was a huge disadvantage for me because I was not used to it. So trying to adjust to that was quite much a
Task.
yeah, a task for me. So I was really trying to push and push and push and see to it that I'm meeting up with the standards that I'm meeting up, and it was a really huge challenge for me. It was a really huge challenge for me. And then now moving to the point where I started to see myself as an entrepreneur in that line, I had to do more research. I had to do more study because now I'm thinking of owning a business. I'm thinking of doing something for myself, not just working for someone because I can't be there forever. So I have to know what they know. I have to because so that actually started to make me see it in a different
Right.
way. So now the challenges grew from just working in a restaurant to being a reliable staff, a reliable person, even in my brand, for myself. So there was like a lot of challenge there, and I had to just keep pushing to meet up.
Interesting. The reason why a customer, may not want to come back to eat at a certain place probably has to do with safety and hygiene.
Yes, surely.
Talk to us about some of the protocols, the safety protocols that you think food vendors must prioritize.
Yeah, that's true. There is something most restaurant owners probably don't understand, and I've worked with several restaurants. I've seen things, and there are some restaurants I worked in. I enjoyed my stay. I enjoyed my work period because there were lots of precision when it comes to food handling. There were lots of precision when it comes to hygiene. And of course, there is something I do know about chefs. There's something I've noticed about chefs. If you see a chef who is keen on hygiene, it doesn't really show it. It doesn't just show it at his workplace. They carry it from home. They say charity begins at home. So there's a need for every restaurant. There's a need for every food business to be very, very precise and very intentional about
Safety and
safety,
hygiene.
about hygiene, because these things now, and the food industry is really growing these days, and there's a wide increase in awareness, especially in Africa. There's a wide increase in awareness. People are getting aware. People are no longer eating just to feel filled, just to be filled. People are eating now to watch their health. People are eating now to improve their health. There are certain food served that would there are certain foods that would actually help people to improve on their health, people that are maybe sick, and there are certain foods that people will take to, help them reduce weight, help them get more strong or something. So in all this, there's a need for every food brand out there to actually be very intentional about food safety. You cannot make good food in a dirty place. You can't. And every restaurant needs to train their staff to that's for those who are doing like who are having a spot, a place, a station where they make their food. And and there are those who make their food from home. The online food delivery has actually increased so much now that people don't even have to open a physical restaurant to actually have something. They have to just make up an idea, and they can start anywhere they are. They can do it from home. But then they need. I feel there needs to be a body that actually regulates even those who are doing food online, because I've seen things. I've really seen things. It would be so funny to know that you get served a meal, and it's looking all beautiful, and you're like, wow, these guys are trying. But then by the time you get into their workspace, you'll be so irritated. So there is need for proper cleaning. There is need for there's something we call clean as you go in the kitchen, and it's very important. It helps the workflow in the kitchen. And I think for most food delivery vendors, they need to also look into that as well, because nobody knows how they are doing their food. We only see the outcome. We only see the outcome. We don't know how they're doing it. We don't know how they start. We don't know what ingredients they use. And also, we
We'll
need
take a
to.
break now and we'll
Okay.
continue when we
Okay.
come back. All right, the chef in the house today telling us about opportunities in the food industry. We'll take a short break, and when we come back shortly, the discussion will continue. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. Just before that break, Chinonso Samuel, a chef in the building, was telling me about safety and hygiene protocols in the food industry.
Yes, I was saying there is a need for a body to actually regulate the food brands, especially those who are delivering online, because nobody knows how they are producing. Nobody sees how they do their food. Nobody sees how the process of their food. In some other restaurants, you have SON going to regulate their food. There is the food concept that works with chicken republics and the likes. So there is a way they regulate their recipes. There's a way they regulate their hygiene. There's a way they regulate their processes and everything. So I think there needs to be a system as well that should help keep all the online vendors in check, because food now is not just something we do, like we take for pleasure. It's something we take to enhance our health. It's something we take to stay alive. So it's a very, very important part of our lives as human beings.
True.
So we must all be intentional about our hygiene. We must all be intentional about timing. We must all be intentional about the recipes as well, because sometimes To save money, some vendors might want to, just buy raw materials that are not organic. And I would actually really want to advise all food vendors out there to go for the organic raw materials, because you can't be using processed food to feed the world. You're actually damaging people's health. But if we are doing organic food, I think there would really be an improve in people's health. And we can't tell how much how much of an advantage this would be, because we can't just overestimate it.
Overemphasize
We
it.
can't
Right.
emphasize it. It's very, very important. Very, very important. So
You did
that's just it.
mention that the food industry is a very big one, very
Yes, it is.
vast, and I agree with you. So in an industry like that, what are the strategies you bring up and put in place to ensure that you create a strong brand identity for yourself as a chef?
Oh yes, that's a really strong one, because when I started to look at the food industry from an entrepreneur's standpoint, I didn't know exactly where to start at the onset. But like I said, I make a lot of researches. I make it a lot of reading. I do reading a lot, and I also ask questions. I watch videos online, and I don't just settle with what I've seen online, because people can fake it online. People can fake it online, but there is something I do know, which is being intentional. Every dream, every goal has to start with an intention. So every brand out there, starting from myself, I actually had an I had what was it called now? I had a
A business
precise,
plan?
yes, I had a precise business plan. I have to, know who my customers are, and I have to know who I want to reach out to. You know, a lot of brands out there want to just, do food anyhow, or just pick any food and just make it and serve it to people. But I think creating a brand actually would be much better and easier if we could just pick one side, just pick an aspect of the industry, and just make up a voice to speak for that aspect. Like for me, I am very, very intentional about health. So when I'm doing my food, I'm very intentional about people's health. I'm intentional about quality, and I'm also intentional about my time. I'm also intentional about meeting up with people's requests, meeting up with people's needs. Because of course, why is it a business if we are not meeting up with people's needs? So all these things put in place would actually help one to create a brand. Because if you're not having an intention to make a brand that is a long-term one, actually. Because I noticed that most people just want to do it because they want to make money. And I would advise, don't do food business because of money. It's
Speaking
not.
about money, I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned money. And we all know how the economy is going and all of that. Quickly, before we wrap up, talk to us about financing in the food industry, especially for would-be intending new entrepreneurs in the food business. What is financing, like the budgeting and all of that? What would be your advice to people who would wish to start up?
Well, it's a whole lot. That's another challenge there. Financing is really challenging, and I feel most food vendors, especially the entrepreneurs, need sponsoring, and they need mentorship as well. They need mentorship as well. I've seen people spend money the wrong way. I've spent money the wrong way myself. I've made mistakes in the past, and I've
You
learned
started
from them.
out.
Yes, I've made mistakes in the past, and I've learned from them. And I don't want to make those same mistakes again. And in order to keep myself away from that, I have to just look out for help. I have to look out for help. I have to ask questions from people who I've seen do the same thing, and they did it better. So I have to also plan well. I have to save up well. I have to invest in the right things. Invest in the right aspects of the
Sectors.
business. Invest in the right sectors, because people just want to do it because they feel it's making money. But food business is not a get rich quick business. it's something you build from scratch. It's something you build gradually. You don't have to rush everything. You have to just take it one step at a time. There were times that I would post things and people don't even
React.
give a hoot about what I'm posting. People are not reacting. But now I know there are things I would post that people would love to take. There are things I would post that people would love to ask questions. Oh, how do you make this? Or how can I get this? And also we need to look out for what sells in our environment actually, because there was a time I made a certain dish. Now this is just an example. I made a certain dish. I posted it online. I was hoping that people would love
Like
it.
it and place orders.
Yes, but what I got in return was questions. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? So, and I felt like it was a popular dish. But when I now went to make my researches, I now noticed that it's actually a popular dish, but not in Nigeria. So making research actually helps a lot. Making research actually helps a lot, and having someone to keep us in check, having a mentor actually helps as well as an entrepreneur, and keeping up with the structures of the food industries would actually help most people not to deviate from what they should actually be, because we see people doing things just because they want the money, and in doing that most times they deviate actually, like the hygiene and food safety I was talking about earlier. A lot of people in the bid to make money go out of that. A lot of people just shift from that because they just want to make something. They just want to see people come to them, see people make orders and all of that. So that's very
All
important.
right, I have to tell you, thank you for coming on the show. It's been fun and exciting and educating
Thank you,
discussing
ma'am.
with you. And we wish you the very best in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
All right, so Samuel, they are discussing with us on various opportunities in the food industry. Stay with us. When we come back, there is more excitement today on the show.
I hear the sound of abundant rain falling from the throne of grace. Let it flow. Let it flow. I hear the sound of abundant rain falling from the throne of grace. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow from the mercy seat. Let it flow from the heavenly. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow from the Holy of Holies. Let it flow from the worship realm. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Hey, let it flow. Let it flow. Hey, let it flow into my life. Let it flow. I hear the sound of abundant rain, falling from the throne of grace. Let it flow. Let it flow. I hear the sound of abundant rain, falling from the throne of grace. Let it flow. I hear the sound of abundant rain, falling from the throne of grace. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. I hear the sound of abundant rain. I hear the sound of abundant throne of grace. Let it flow.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us this morning on the show. It's an exciting one talking about our discussion segment today. I have with me a gospel artist in the house. She will be discussing with me, on various topical issues that affect the industry. Please make welcome my guest, Peculiar Raphael. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's
Good
so nice
morning.
to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And you look
Thank
beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a privilege.
You're young, you're pretty, and you're vibrating for God. In a time where most young people your age would delve into secular music, what inspired you to take up gospel?
Okay, being that I was raised from a very gospel background, my dad, a pastor, and I got to learn about God very early, knowing exactly what he did for me through Jesus Christ on the cross, and then also serving in a very strong Bible-believing church, a gospel church, I would say. So I don't think I would want to do anything outside my inspiration because that inspires me. My day-to-day life, my activities, everything is revolved around what I believe, my faith. So that's exactly what I can say that inspires me. To talk about Christ, to talk about the gospel.
Tell me
Yes.
about some of the things you sing about and where you get your major inspirations
Okay.
for your songwriting.
Okay. I recently had a live recording, and then I was telling them how a particular song came to me through my dream. And one of the topics that inspires me is the cross. The cross, the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus, the sacrifice that he paid for us on the cross. So that inspires me because it helps to spread the gospel. It helps for people to know more about Christ, who he is, what he has done. So, and I know that music has a way of reaching out to more than the people that just words can reach out to, especially when it is melodious. So if that's the only way I can reach out to people to tell them about the cross, then that's fine. That's what inspires me mostly. Thank
The
you.
music industry is very saturated in Nigeria. I mean,
Yes.
we have a lot of beautiful, diverse talents in the music industry, and especially as well in the gospel. So, what is your game plan? How do you plan to break into this already saturated market and make an impact?
Okay. So in this kingdom, we don't some I believe that to be diligent, to be hardworking is very important. And also to reach out to the right organization that will help you project your music is very important. But most of the times, it seems not to go as planned, or it doesn't exactly favor a lot of people. So this is where trusting God to be able to project it the way I did not. Okay, in Ephesians 3:20 says God is able to do for you exceedingly abundantly above all that you can think, ask, or imagine, according to the power that is at work in you. So whenever I am doing anything music and also promoting it, I don't exactly or entirely depend on my own self or my capacity or on the people that I know. I would try my best. I would do the best I can. But trusting that God can help me spread his gospel. It is his own. In fact, I can't even do anything on my own right now. It's only God that can help me spread this gospel by himself. Yes.
As a creative, I have to ask, as a
Yes.
creative in the course of your music writing, rendering, general inspirations, do you face any challenges? Maybe any mental health challenges, or sometimes, how do you, like we writers, sometimes we have a writer's block, and you have to do certain things to unblock and get back in your zone. What can you tell me?
Okay. I wouldn't say that it's always smooth. No, it's not. Most of the times, it feels like you're not even doing enough. Yes. And you see your peer group, your age mates, or people you guys started together, they are thriving, they are making it. And then sometimes we get to have like the block that you said because Probably because of the environment we found ourselves.
Okay.
Some people don't get to appreciate you for what until you get to the right environment. Sometimes it may be a setting where people prefer a different genre than what you are offering. So sometimes you need to now be more creative, more in tune with what's happening in, you know how time flies and generation, you know how Gen Zs, they are gradually dominating the
Spaces.
spaces. Yes. So if you need to now think like them to be able to create something that will be relatable
their
by,
attention.
yes, relatable by everybody. So yeah, I think that the best way to sort this out is to actually go back, like reinvent yourself. Yes, reinvent yourself. Think about better ways to sort it out. If not, you're going to have serious mental breakdown because a lot of people, a lot of singers feel very lonely. Yes, there is this loneliness. You get to entertain everybody, make people feel good, and then in your private
Nobody attends
space,
to
nobody
you.
attends to you.
So how
It
do
feels
you
like,
relax and unwind to be in your best frame of mind?
okay, like I said, I'm a gospel singer, so the best way, some other persons would resort to smoking, drinking, and all of that. That's their own way. But my own way is praying most of the times. I just talk to God, and then I have refreshments by reading the Word of God and telling myself who I am in Christ. And then from there, asking the Holy Spirit for more ideas, more innovative and more influential ideas that can help me break through. That's it.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
now let's digress a little bit. In this industry where is dominated by a lot of young persons, what do you think society can do differently? The government, the private sector, individuals, family support. What do you think we can do differently so that people, young artists in our society can thrive better?
Okay. I feel parents should be able to support their children more when they say they want to go into music.
Music.
Yes. Because most of the times it feels like the only approved career is doctor, lawyer, you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to be like so person, be like Donald Trump and all of that. So you're putting your children in a box. And it's, family is the creator of the society. So if your family already thinks like that, it means that whoever is in the government is also coming out from such kind of family. And so they may not exactly put value on people who are in this kind of craft. However, I am grateful that the time and age we are in they are gradually recognizing this thing called music. They are gradually understanding. In fact, there are now different ways for musicians to actually make money to console themselves because it looks like they are really downgraded, really looked down upon. But when you look at some secular and some really popular gospel singers, you feel encouraged because things are changing. Things are changing. But I would like for families to be able to put their full support, give your children the best support that they need for this career. Music, acting, all of them are in the same category. So when you say, I want to be an actress, I want to be a musician, they look at you like, are you joking? Our neighbor's child is a doctor. In fact, she's studying law, and what are you doing? So I feel like we should be able to let our children be what they are, because out of it can come even the liberation that the family is looking for.
True.
Yes, ma'am.
True, true,
Yes.
true. All right, but what do you see yourself? Let's project a little in the nearest future. What do you see yourself?
I see myself where God sees me. Well, with consistency and diligence, I believe that I'll be able to reach out to the right audience, the kind of people that is in my heart to reach out to. I see myself going to nations, traveling to just preach the gospel through songs. And by God's grace, it will happen.
Interesting. Well, I talked to us about some of the mental health issues that can affect a musician, especially maybe females this time. Let's be a little bit personal. What are some of the mental health issues that can come up and how they can deal with it?
Okay, so I'll use myself as a little example. Rejection can sometimes cause mental health issues, especially when you are in a sector where you've given your all, you've given your best, but it's not good enough for the people that are around you. Not exactly because it's not good enough, but because it's something that they are not seeing yet. And then something happened to me. You know, I told you that I had a live recording some days ago.
Yeah.
Something happened to me. I initially had the date for 25th, and then towards the 25th, I fell ill and lost my voice. So, which caused us to postpone the program. And then anxiety kicked in. I started to think, I worried a lot. Like, how is it that we've invited this amount of people? And then, you know how concerts are usually supposed to be on Fridays. But then, this particular new date that was available for all crew members and team members was on a Tuesday. So, and it was a lot for me to handle. And then I started to palpitate.
Wow.
Like, it was hard, but I scaled through. However, here is what I'm going to tell anyone who is going through a mental breakdown because of music. Believe in yourself. I know there are lots of expectations of you from the society, from your folks, from your friends, your family. Just believe in yourself. Keep your focus. Just keep looking. There's something. There's an analogy I'd like to give. It's in the Bible. When Moses built the brazen serpent, and then that one was like a molded image, but there were like live serpents on the floor, on the ground. If you don't look at that particular one, the ones on the ground will bite you. So when you keep looking at your problems on the ground, you're not going to move forward. At some point, I decided that, okay, even if people don't show up because it's a Tuesday, it's an active working day, I'll just do this thing with my team members and we're done. God be praised. Everything works together for my good. So always see the brighter version of every situation, brighter side to everything. Because God is able to keep you. He is the one that started this thing for you. The Bible says that he who started a good work in you is able to complete it. He will complete it. So he will actually stop at nothing to see you better, the better version of yourself. So if you're going through mental health because of rejection, because of neglect, because people don't see actually your worth, they don't see your worth. Or maybe you go for an event, you see, some people are more preferred than you. The kind of preferential treatment they give this person and the one they are giving to you. Oh, the kind of money you are being paid is nothing compared to what this person is being paid. But you even did more. I know it's enough to break you down. But just put in the work. Put in the work. Continue putting in the work. There's something one of the secular musicians said, Beyonce. She said, keep putting in the work. Keep looking forward. Keep looking at the future, the goal. You are going to get there with time. Rejection. The person that built this bulb, I heard that he failed like 99 times. And then the last one, he got it. So it may just take just that one good thing that you're going to do one day to break through. So just keep doing it. Don't look at anybody. Yes, that's all I
It's
can
doable.
say. Yes,
Life can
it
be
is.
beautiful when you stay at your pace and do life at your own pace,
Yes, no rush.
Life is beautiful when you just stay in your lane, no traffic, just live life at your own pace. Finally, before I let you go, you're going to do a song for us. Please, we won't let you go before we would like to experience what your voice sounds like.
Okay,
Quickly, before we wrap up.
okay. I hear the sound of abundant rain falling from the throne of grace. Let it flow. Let it flow. I hear the sound of abundant rain falling from a throne of grace. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow from the mercy seat. Let it flow from the heavenly. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow from the Holy of Holies. Let it flow from the worship realm. Let it flow. Let it flow.
For want of time, we'll wrap it up there. Nice one. Nice one.
And that's actually my song.
Your voice is beautiful and angelic.
Thank you.
On behalf of all of us at the Unity Station, we are rooting for you and we wish you the very best.
Thank you
We'll
very
see you in
much.
kingly places.
Amen.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a beautiful one there from the talented and beautiful, peculiar Raphael. Stay with us on the show. There is more when we come back.